Well, I'm the best corner in the game. Don't you ever talk about me.
Picked off. It is Richard Sherman. It's picked off by Sherman. Now, buckle up. Here he goes. And it is intercepted by Richard Sherman. Broken up. Picked off. This game is over.
Hey, welcome everyone. It's your boy, Richard Sherman, and I'm back with PFF, but I'm doing it by myself. This is me. This is my own podcast. Come on, it's brought to you by Superdraft. I appreciate you guys helping me out, getting me on. I'm here to say what's on my mind, to make sure you guys get the down and dirty, all the background information, whatever I want to talk about that day. Joining me on this show is one of my good friends, my marketing agent, my front man, Mitch Eisenstein, and we will keep the conversation very interesting. He will do a great job of asking the difficult questions because he always has the weird questions where you're like, man, who would ask that? So we'll keep this as fun and as animated as we can. So you guys stay interested. We got some big news today, but I'll let Mitch kick it off until we get there.
Richard, it's an absolute pleasure to join you this season. Last year was awesome seeing you and Chris, but we're going to take this to new heights. And something tells me we have some interesting news in the pipeline. I want to call you Richard Schefter. What, Mr. Richard Schefter? What do we have to report here?
Well, sources say that Richard Sherman has had a lot of interest this offseason, despite the obvious legal issues that have happened that everybody has addressed, and everybody has seen more than their fair share of. There's been great interest from the San Francisco 49ers, a team that, he had a great relationship. John and Kyle run a great ship, but obviously they've made some moves at cornerback with Josh Norman and Drake Kirkpatrick, and they got a rookie playing extremely well. Emmanuel Mosley's playing well. They got KK in the slot. We got a little banged up, but they're all doing a great job. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady reached out, and that was a tremendous opportunity for him. It's an all-time great quarterback reaching out, and anytime he makes that call, it's a very difficult opportunity to pass up. The Carolina Panthers were interested, and they had brief conversations, but then they made a trade for a young cornerback, which is a fantastic move by them. There was early interest by the Seattle Seahawks. Everything has been kind of wiry this offseason, but I finally had enough conversations and came to a decision that I'm going to go play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Woo! Woo! All the craziness and then all the hate and then all the tweets and then everybody's mad because I didn't go to their team. I'm sorry. I went with the best offer I had, the best opportunity to go out there and put some great tape on, to lead another group. I feel comfortable and confident in my abilities to go out there and execute and help that team win. Obviously, I have a ton of love for the faithful and the 49er fans and the 49ers front office and that team. A lot of friends and a lot of guys I'm still rooting for and cheering for throughout the season. Obviously, still got a lot of friends with the Seattle Seahawks. But this was an opportunity I couldn't pass up, and I weighed all the options with my wife and my family, and this is what we came up with. So I'm ready to strap them back up and go out there and show that these old legs still got some juice.
Richard, I'm, for one, very, very excited. I've been trying to get you out of the West Coast for years now, albeit I love the Pacific Northwest. I loved San Francisco. It'd be nice to have you a little bit closer. So when you said Tampa Bay, I was in too. Why Tampa Bay, though? What's so exciting about that opportunity for you?
Well, obviously, they're coming off the Super Bowl, and they returned all the starters. They have a great veteran team, tons of talent. Obviously, Tom Brady at the helm, you always got a chance. Great receiving core, elite receiving core, and a great Grizzly veteran front seven and a very talented back end. So it's an opportunity you once again, I said I couldn't pass up. It's a proven team, and I just need to go in there and show that these legs still got some juice.
You mentioned Tom. Tom Brady, obviously, I know you have a ton of respect for him. You guys have your history as well, the old You Mad Bro situation. We sold a lot of T-shirts in Seattle with You Mad Bro. And, of course, he got you as well when Malcolm Butler, unfortunately, had that interception that everyone seemed to forget about by now. But, yeah, But tell me, I mean, what impact did Tom Brady have on this decision for you? You know, how did he, you know, was there any motivating force from him to help you make Tampa Bay your new home?
Well, you know, he reached out initially, you know, to and check to see if I was in shape. You know, he and I have had a relationship over the years, and you know, he's a great guy, you know, very encouraging. Obviously, like you said, we had our history, but you know, what happens on the field stays on the field, and off the field, you know, I think we have a very solid relationship. And I think we both, you know, thought it'd be really cool if we had an opportunity to play together at some point in time. You know, obviously with our situations, it didn't seem likely at any point in time. But he reached out and said they may express interest, and obviously he wanted to play with me. Then their front office reached out, and the conversation started a few weeks ago when they lost their starter, Murphy Bunting.
Yep.
And then it kind of steamrolled. You know, they got a little more banged up, and the conversations continued. You know, there was a little haggling back and forth. Obviously, some conversations with other teams, but eventually it comes down to the best opportunity to go out there and win. Todd Bowles runs a great scheme. I obviously played against him for a number of years in Arizona when they were in Arizona, and also when he was with the Jets. And I know his scheme very well, and I think I fit that scheme very well. I think people have misnomers about players and about schemes and think they know, oh man, this guy runs this scheme and this guy can't fit this scheme. And I think it's just a lot of fan talk, and I'll be happy to show them how well I fit in the scheme.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about scheme. Obviously, in Seattle and San Fran, you guys played that Seattle cover 3, and now you're moving to more of a blitz-heavy scheme with a lot of man coverage. You said you're ready for it. I mean, what changes do you anticipate in your game?
It's not a ton of changes. You know, it's about having an understanding of the game, having an understanding of positioning, getting my body in the right position to be successful, making sure I do a great job recognizing the plays, recognizing the formations, the concepts, the down and distance, being very situationally aware, and once again, just putting myself in the best position to be successful. You know, obviously 10 years of a decade of work, you see just about everything. And obviously, you know, there's always plays they draw up in the dirt, but I think over the years, I've given myself the best opportunity to be successful by studying, and I plan on doing a ton of that, you know, and I think Todd calls a great game, and I think it'll go hand in hand.
You obviously played against Bruce Arians quite a bit when he was coaching the Cardinals. What's it like to now join forces with him?
Yeah, Bruce, I mean, he calls a very aggressive game. You know, I mean, he's always called a very aggressive game. It's either stretch right, stretch left, or bomb. And when you play him, that's usually what you prepare for. He's making the corners tackle. He's pushing the ball vertically and stretching the defense as much as he can. And obviously with Tom can do it all. He can hit intermediate. He can 5 yards you all the way down with a 15-play drive, 85 yards. You know, and so I think it's a great combination. Obviously, it was great enough for them to win the Super Bowl. So I'm looking forward to being even closer and seeing what he draws up.
So this offseason obviously was a little bit different for you. You know, every other year in the past, you had a regimented OTAs going into training camp. This year, you didn't have that. What's it been like for you? What have you done to keep yourself in the best physical and mental shape? Because you knew this call was going to come. We talked about this for the last 2 months. You knew this opportunity was going to present itself. Tell the fans what you've been doing physically and mentally to get ready for this opportunity.
Well, it was so much different. So much different than what I'm used to. You know, my routine is usually, you know, you go through OTAs, you run through them, you get your body in tip-top shape. Then you got 6 weeks to kind of maintain. Train and maintain. You got your guys that you go against, and then you got 6 weeks, and then you're back in the swing of things. You never really get rusty. And I think this offseason, you know, obviously physically, I was, you know, able to, you know, Peloton. You have to be creative because you kind of get bored when you're not used to doing it that way. I'm used to being with a team, competing. You know, whether it's in the weight room, on the field, off the field. Having a good time, you know, working your body, whether you're going against receivers or going against your fellow DBs and racing and your conditioning, or in the weight room competing, seeing who can lift the most, or, you know, who can do the most sit-ups or push-ups. And when you're doing it alone, it takes a lot of self-discipline and a lot of just a lot of push. You know what I mean? You gotta You got to be able to wake yourself up and motivate yourself and get yourself out there and push by yourself. When you want to run 1,000, 1,500 yards by yourself, it's hard to get yourself to run at the speed you need to run to be able to get yourself in a condition you need to play in this league. So it was a different challenge, and obviously mentally, I had my moments. Obviously, I've adapted and changed some things in that respect in terms of the mental wellness side of things and talking to counselors and getting some help, getting on some medication that I needed. And, that's helped tremendously as well. And, having a supportive family, a supportive wife, and her, on the days where I didn't feel like getting up and didn't have the motivation, her kind of kicking me out the bed and pushing me out the house and going. So, it took a lot. It took a village.
No question about it. I can attest. I worked out with Richard a couple times, and I consider myself somewhat physically fit. I got busted up pretty good. So I know you're in good shape, Richard. I know you're ready for this. You talked a little bit about family. I know moving away, obviously, is going to be a little bit of a challenge with the family dynamic. You're from Compton. You went to Dominguez High School. You went up to Stanford, NorCal. Then you went to Seattle. Then down to San Francisco, West Coast, born and raised, and working throughout. Now you're moving to Tampa Bay. What was that conversation like with Ashley, your wife? What convincing did you have to do in order for you to be able to move for a couple months?
Well, obviously, we have a ton of help out here. Her family's out here, her mother's out here, her father's out here. She's from Seattle. So with the kids, we have a great system in place. So that helped a lot with this decision. Obviously, there was a tremendous amount of communication. She wants to get me out of the house anyway. She had too much time in the house, too many loads of laundry done, too much getting in her way. She wants to see me go do what I love. So she didn't take a ton of convincing. Obviously, it's a different team, a different environment, a different coast. So that just comes with the love and appreciation for your wife and just having communication. And so we're going to work through that, and that's what I had to tell Tampa. I was like, y'all bringing me a long way from home, y'all better appreciate me taking this shot.
It better be worth your time.
Right. And so, I think it's going to be cool, and I think it's going to be a fun opportunity. This is the Richard Sherman podcast brought to you by Superdraft Fantasy, the official fantasy partner of Caesar Rewards. Listeners get their first $5 Superdraft contest for free with the promo code PFF at registration. This year, Superdraft is unleashing the Super 15, a game that everybody has seen. You've seen the memes, you've seen the pictures, et cetera, but nobody's ever been able to play up until now. You get the $5 player, the $4 player, the $3 player, you know the game, and you get a chance to compete against me. Every week, I'll pick my team on this show, and if you can beat me, you can win some cash rewards and other prizes. No credit card required to claim your free game. Simply download the Superdraft app on the App or Play Store. Use code PFF when you create your account and play your first $5 game free. Offer only eligible for new accounts. Superdraft paid fantasy contests are available in 34 states. Must be 18 or older to play. Visit superdraft.io for eligibility restrictions.
Now, Richard, in 2019, you were the highest graded cornerback ranked by PFF. How much of peak Richard Sherman are we going to see this year?
Enough to get the job done. I think people, everybody's all about potential and what they know have happened. They're like, oh my God, this guy's so good. He ran 4.3, so he's got to be so great. And it's like, when you play corner, whether you run 4.7 or whether you run 4.1, if you don't play the guy right, if you don't have the right technique, if you guess, you can get beat by 10 yards on the go route at any point in time. And the same can be said if you run 4.5 and like Xavier Howard had 10 picks last year, led the league, and I'm pretty sure he's not a 4.3 guy. So people kind of overemphasize that. It's a bit overrated in this league. Speed is important, but everybody's fast enough to play. If you're out there and you're better and you made it through 4 or 5 years in this league, then you're fast enough to get the job done. The rest comes down to anticipation, understanding, body positioning, and I think I do that as good as anyone. And obviously I lost a lot of weight, a lot of dad weight. You don't realize that you get that weight. They're always like, oh, when you turn 30, it's much harder to get the weight off. And I can attest, it's very difficult. But thankfully, I was able to get it off, and I feel a lot better, a lot springier, a lot faster, a lot better conditioned, and better able to take the wear and tear of a season. So we'll see how it goes.
Tampa Bay obviously is the bullseye for a lot of teams in this league. They just won the Super Bowl. They've got a lot of talent on the roster. You're going to be tested day in, day out. What's it going to be like lining up against Tom Brady and Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, Antonio Brown, Gronk in practice? How is that going to help you on Sundays?
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And, obviously that's what you need, and they have so many different types of receivers. That's really helpful because sometimes you get on teams where you have great receivers, but they're all the same body type. You either got all quick, fast guys or all big, strong, fast guys or, and they got everything. They got Antonio, they got Godwin, two much different bodies. Then they got Mike, who's a much different body. Then they got Scotty, who's a much different body. Gronk, one of the best tight ends to play in the game, different bodies. So you get all those looks. It gets you really accustomed to what you're going to see in the game and gets you the best looks you could possibly get and really get you prepared. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting some releases in and also just the feedback. The communication between receivers and corners gets you better. Just kind of picking at each other and understanding, hey, maybe if you did this, maybe if you changed your footwork to this, it helped you out a lot. And I'm always, spun for information.
In Seattle, we saw you grow. You grew into your own self. Obviously, you suffered the Achilles injury. You overcame that. People doubted you. You went to the arch rival of Seattle, the San Francisco 49ers. You morphed into Uncle Sherm, took over their defense and helped that defense transform into one of the best defenses in the last decade, certainly in the NFL. That was a young team, young DB core. This team is somewhat similar, but there's a lot of veterans on the D-line and a heck of a lot of great talent in the middle. The defensive backfield is young but talented. What do you think you can bring to the likes of Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean to help them get to that next level, much like you did in San Francisco?
Well, I don't know if I need to help them get to another level. Those guys just won a Super Bowl. So they deserve all the credit in the world. They deserve the respect that they get. I hope to come in and add to that, to add my knowledge, to add my experience to that, to help them in certain situations where I can, and also to learn from them, to learn from those guys and to get a feel for how they like to play. I think people get stuck in their ways and you feel like you can't learn anything because you're older than them or you played more football or whatever the case may be. But there's always an opportunity to learn. So I look forward to studying those guys and being in a room with them and learning their strengths and weaknesses and continuing to grow as a player and as a human. And I look forward to getting to know the rest of the defense. They have a great front seven and they play really fast. And I look forward to seeing how I fit in that.
You mentioned being older than some of the players on the team. I think a lot of fans don't know this, but you played with Antoine Winfield Sr. in Seattle. What's it going to be like playing with Junior in Tampa?
Well, it makes you feel old. In San Francisco, they call you Uncle Sherm. You start to feel old. And then you come to a team where you're playing with one of your ex-teammates' son. It just, I'm trying not to think about it. I think it'll hit me at some point, later on down the line where I'm like, man, what are you doing out here with these kids? But it's going to be cool. It's a really cool, opportunity. Obviously, Antoine Winfield Sr. was a great player and had a tremendous impact on my career just from an experience standpoint and some of the knowledge that he was able to share in his short time with us during training camp in 2013. And I look forward to trying to return the favor with his son.
One last question for you, Richard. You're obviously joining a new team a month into the season. What are your expectations of yourself, and what would you define as a successful season for you personally?
Well, at the end of the day, it's doing your job. It's doing your job at a high level, and I have a high standard for myself regardless of what the circumstances are. I think I can go out there and keep my standards the same. So I expect to go out there and execute. I expect to go out there and play Pro Bowl, all Pro Bowl, regardless of the votes. I may be a little too late in the season for me to get the votes I need, but I'm going to go out there and execute to the best of my abilities and hopefully help this ball club win some games. All right, here we go. the first ever Super 15 lineup by Superdraft by yours truly. Oh, you know I'm going to pick them right. And I'm going to keep it simple. Straight threes, down the line. We got Travis Kelce, for obvious reasons. Patrick Mahomes' favorite target. Gonna eat, gonna get yards, touchdowns. Come on, that's an easy one. We got Damian Harris with the Patriots. Come on, he's been running. He's been getting his yards. Bill Belichick. James White is down. Maybe get a few more catches. Come on, I need it. We got DK Metcalf. Come on. T. Lockett got a little knee injury, a little banged up. May not get as many looks this week. DK might get a few more. That's what we need. That's what I need. We got Stephon Diggs. Come on now. It speaks for itself. Stephon, I need it. Right now. Like, not right now. Then we got Derek Carr. Come on, Derek Carr, super underrated. Got the Raiders 3-0 right now. Moving the ball. 300 yards a game almost. I expect that to continue. Wouldn't mind if you go 4 on it. Wouldn't mind at all. Come on now. Who's going to be upset? Me? No, not me. So that's my Super 15 lineup. If you think you can beat me, download the Superdraft app. Take a shot. Use the promo code PFF for the free $5 contest. You know what I mean? That's different. But come through.
Well, guys, we're excited to bring you guys this on a weekly basis throughout the year. Thank you again to Superdraft. We appreciate the sponsorship. I'm excited personally to light off some cannons in Raymond James Stadium. And I guess that's it, all. Just another Mitchy Richie connection out here.
Back at it again.
Back at it again, baby.
See you guys next episode. Stay tuned.